Additional aids and services are available to individuals with disabilities. To make such a request, please contact us by email, by clicking the Help tab in the PD portal, or at pdportal@tamu.edu, by phone, including Relay Texas at 1-800-441-7323, or in writing to Train PD, PD Portal Support, 4477 TAMU, College Station, Texas 77843. Both a transcript and accessible document of the content presented in this webinar can be found as resources in the course description. Click on the blue links under Course Resources in the description. When a link is clicked, a new browser window will open.
I want to welcome the Associate Director of the Distance Education Professional Development Center, Ashley Winkle. She is passionate about technology and she is the National Links Technology Moderator. She excels in roles like Distance Learning Director, PD Coordinator, Trainer, and Project Manager at TCAL. In 2021, she managed the groundbreaking distance education call center offering tech supports for Texas adult educators and students. She holds a dual master's degree in teaching and learning, teaching leadership, and business management online education. And it helps her reflect her dedication through enhancing adult education through technology. Everybody, please welcome Ashley Winkle. So we are blessed today to have another presenter with us. Crystal Tatro brings over 14 years of military service and a deep commitment to excellence in her current role at the DEPDC at Texas A&M. Born in Galveston and raised in Connecticut by her father, Kevin Tatro, Crystal developed resilience, adaptability, and strong values from a young age. She served in the United States Army, where she embraced challenges, honed leadership abilities, and demonstrated a passion for service. Crystal channels her skills and experiences to positively impact the DEPDC and the broader community. Her journey reflects her ability to overcome obstacles and drive meaningful change. Crystal leverages her diverse background to lead by example, serve her organization, and inspire those around her. Please help me give both Ashley and Crystal a warm welcome. And Crystal, I want to thank you for your service. All right, take it away, you two.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Ashley Winkle, and so we are here today to share an alternative to Jamboard. So FigJam is one of the options. However, FigJam is bigger than just a whiteboard, so take each thing in as you can, but you don't have to use everything. So you can just focus on the whiteboard options. But today what we're going to do is give you a nice overview, talk about it in adult education, and give you a chance to play around with it. Right off the bat, Anne-Marie's going to drop a link in the chat pod, and we would welcome you all to go to the link so you can actually be on the FigJam. And you're going to be prompted, introduce yourself, and then answer the first two sections of the KWL chart.
All right, everyone. So this is a FigJam. At the bottom of your screen, you should see the little toolbar. You'll have your marker, some ellipses, your sticky notes. Just going to grab one of those sticky notes, write my name so everyone knows I'm here. On the sticky notes, you have two things that I want to point out. You can make your font small, large, medium, all the way up to huge. You could change the color on it. But this authorship right here, so it lets you know that's my sticky note. If I take it off, I'm now anonymous. So we have our KWL chart. So as everyone knows, that's know, wonder, and I've hidden learn, simply because we just haven't gotten there yet. So write something you know about FigJam and something you're wondering about FigJam.
How does it know your authorship? Do you have to log in?
So you're anonymous because you don't have an account. That's one of the great things about FigJam right now. I have an educator's account, which is free. It allows me to share my FigJam board with everyone without everyone having to have an account.
And I should also explain, why did we choose FigJam? We chose FigJam because FigJam's the one that really kind of took over for Jamboard. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but that's why we chose it. Most people are saying they know nothing. Some people are saying this is new to me and I'm excited about learning. Not familiar. I don't know too much. So today our objectives are going to be that by the end of the session, you will understand FigJam and its key features. Identify practical tips and strategies for incorporating FigJam into adult education. And finally, showcase how FigJam can be used integrated into adult education classrooms. I do want to point out to you that this is an opportunity to play around a little bit. So just an overview of FigJam. What is FigJam? Google basically decided that Jamboard could be more, and instead of reinventing the wheel, they kind of went to FigJam. So the good news with this is that if you are currently using Jamboard, you are able to integrate your Jamboards you currently have into FigJam. So you get to keep them and continue using them, which is a nice feature to it. So it's basically a collaborative online whiteboard platform that makes it easy for teams to brainstorm visually and work together in real time. It facilitates interactive visual collaboration for workshops, brainstorms, and other creative work. Its intuitive design makes it easy to get started quickly. 3 key features that I wanted to mention. It has the collaborative online whiteboard for teams to visualize ideas together. So you see a lot of what you see in Jamboard, but probably a little bit more. Its intuitive interface with sticky notes, shapes, text, and connectors. And it also has real-time co-editing with chat, comments, and @ mentions. Some additional features. It allows for multiple people can simultaneously edit sticky notes, images, shapes, text boxes, and other elements on a virtual whiteboard. But in addition to that, there are templates and libraries that provide pre-made content. And I'm going to tell you that last night I was kind of exploring this more. There are so many pre-made templates that even if you didn't want to use this for an entire lesson, you could just find a template like that KWL chart. I didn't make that. It was already made. Nice, easy. There it is. So all of the things that we have done as teachers in the past, I feel like it's already on there and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You could just grab it. For example, if you were just getting started with this, I would take like one simple activity, maybe like a KWL chart, and just let your students play around on it. Get them familiarized and let them see that they can do these different things. You can do stamps, you can do notes. There are other things that Crystal's going to show you more later. But have that opportunity to just let them play on it. So do an icebreaker or something like that. Don't overwhelm them, but this is a great opportunity for your students and for you to get started with it. More features. It integrates with apps like Slack, Google Drive, etc., to pull content into your boards. And everything is saved in the cloud automatically, so you can pick up wherever you left off. And even more features. Flexible permissions allow you to set edit access and share boards widely. The free version has generous limits, which we're going to talk about that in a second. And there is a free Figma for education option. This is very important to our lives because that was the first thing I was looking for. And we had a hard time finding it at first, but now they've made it more readily available. And again, I'm going to let Crystal talk about that. So we're going to move on to our second FigJam activity. This time we're just going to do a little discussion board and you guys can tell us how you see FigJam comparing to Jamboard.
Right here, I just went to the templates. You could do brainstorming, planning, diagrams. So I just did a compare and it starts pulling up compare and contrast templates. I chose one that I thought was pretty. I added the template and then, I just put my titles on it. And then I've locked the screen, which you can do by highlighting it, right-clicking, and then there's a lock and unlock version. What we have found out is if it's unlocked, if someone tries to grab their sticky note, they might accidentally grab the diagram and then it looks all funky. So again, we have our sticky notes. You could do text. That is also down at the bottom. It's the T right here. So you could just hit text and now I can type. I know it looks really small. You can do zoom. I'm sitting at about 25%, but some people might want to go up to 50% and then we can just make our text huge. So when I'm down here and I'm hovering over the plus button, it says zoom out and then it gives me the shortcut key, which is Control minus or Control plus to zoom in and out. If you have a mouse with a scroller on it, you can push that scroller down. You'll see a little hand, and that will allow you to move the screen. Otherwise, you come over to your toolbar down at the bottom, and there's the little hand tool. If you're in a tool, like if I have the marker out and I no longer want to use it, I can hit escape and it brings me just back to my cursor. Down at the bottom, we got stamps, or you can just hit E on your keyboard. It'll bring your stamps up. You can grab a little heart over there and just put it on him. So if you go right next to your sticky notes, it'll bring up another template. You could go into stickers, and they have all kinds of stickers. It also has templates, widgets, all kinds of things.
Starting to see some people answering. Similarities, they're both interactive. Separate frames, that was the first thing I was looking for when I got on FigJam. There aren't separate frames. You just basically, instead of doing frames, you spotlight the activities. So the teacher spotlights the activity. That's what Crystal's doing right now, so that we all are on it at the same time. You can add links to FigJam. That gives me much joy. That has always been one of my biggest complaints about Jamboard, because I like to add live links to things. You can see exactly what we wanted you to experience it this way, because we wanted you to see what it would be like for students. I do want to point out, this is not going to be ideal for a cell phone situation. So you probably do want to have computers of some sort if you're going to be able to effectively use this.
The other thing I love about FigJam is they have lots of little classes that you can watch on YouTube. So I just put in the FigJam section, transition from Jamboard to FigJam, a teacher's guide. And then if you play it, it plays right here.
Hello, educators and tech enthusiasts.
Into your FigJam board, so your students aren't having to copy links, go to a new page, and all that.
So the real key with FigJam is using all of their versatile visual features to promote engagements, collaboration, creativity, and visualization. So really what it does, it lets learners leverage their visual thinking and expression. Some reasons to use FigJam in adult education: visual collaboration. Basically, FigJam allows multiple adult learners and instructors to collaborate visually on diagrams, mind maps, wireframe, etc. This can facilitate for better understanding and creativity. Another one is engagement. The drag and drop interface and ability to draw visually can make learning more interactive and engaging for adult learners. Accessibility. FigJam works on any device with a web browser, making it easily accessible for adult learners and instructors. Now, I did not dig in deep, but I did see there are a number of accessibility features. Other things: organization. FigJam's Canvas and whiteboard layouts allow for information and ideas to be organized and structured logically. This can aid learning comprehension. And finally, of course, brainstorming. There's sticky notes, frames, shapes, and text boxes in the FigJam. Facilitates brainstorming sessions and mapping out ideas easily in adult education setting. And also, we could include feedback, because you're able to provide feedback as they are doing things as well. More reasons: instant feedback, remote learning, or in-person learning. So this could be done in both environments. But remote learning, know what your devices are, would be my recommendation on there. If you already know that your students are actually on computers, great. This could work out wonderful. If they're on cell phones, I would proceed with caution. Versatility, there's so many different things that can be done on this platform. So FigJam can be used for things like storyboarding, mind mapping, sketching, project planning, and more. It gives instructors options to engage adult learners visually. And everybody is constantly interacting, which is a beautiful thing. And digital literacy skills. We are teaching so many skills while we're doing a lesson. And that's where we're talking about our digital literacy standards have just come out. These are what we're talking about. This is another opportunity to basically enhance those skills. Not only their skills, but our skills, quite frankly. There's so many things to learn and to do. And so we're really helping our students not only learn the material, but also build their digital literacy skills. Just a little bit about integrating FigJam. I think it is just like introducing any other tool. It is an investment, and you are going to have to take the time. Like I said before, I would just start with a simple activity. The good news is there's so many activities out there that you can choose from. You saw how Crystal was able to just simply share a link and you can just go. So I would definitely say if it was me, I would want to be in person in a computer lab, or at least have some sort of laptops available for them to participate in. But there are different things you can do. You can map out processes, workflows, use frames and arrows to map out processes, systems, and workflows visually for topics being discussed. You can also color code different components. They also have some pretty cool storyboard presentations. So you could have learners storyboard presentation mapping out key points on frames that can be dragged around to sequence the flow. There is also sketch concepts. So ask learners to visually sketch or diagram concepts, theories, anatomy, structures to aid memory retention. And then you can also design project plans. So use boards with columns for brainstorming, planning, executing, reviewing stages of group projects, or just to track progress. Additionally, we've got collaboration. So there's brainstorming opportunities that would very easily use for that. So organize thoughts into categories, build mind maps. You could do group discussions where students can share their ideas, thoughts, or just ask questions. Visualization, create visual notes. So students, as they are learning, don't have to just use text. They can use drawings or diagrams or thought bubbles or connectors. So they basically have an opportunity to really reach all of your students, right? So we really have an opportunity for the differentiation that we so need. You get to give visual feedback. So you don't have to do the old-fashioned way either. You could comment or annotate on learner submissions by drawing or highlighting areas for improvement instead of just doing it the old-fashioned way. So the class tools, I kind of struggled with how to really categorize these myself. So I have included some of the cool things I found on the handout that we'll give you at the end of this. So some of these things that I talk about, I included because I got a little excited about them, but you can use them for digital lessons. So when I say digital lessons, for those of you who know of my history with digital lessons, you could create a hyperdoc very easily with this, and you don't ever go outside of your FigJam. That's the benefit of it. So if you link it to something, the link opens up right in your FigJam instead of going to external links. So your student doesn't have to go back and forth the way they do with a traditional hyperdoc lesson. Also, there's choice boards that are already made for you. So you could take your entire lesson plan and put it all on a FigJam if you were ready to do that. That again is going to take some pretty heavy tech skills from both you and your students. So I would not be too ambitious with that right away. Graphic organizers, they're already there, or you can make your own. And I know Anne-Marie asked in the chat earlier about where do you find these templates? Do you know what I was doing last night? I was just Googling them. I would Google FigJam graphic organizer and take it straight there. But there is a section that Crystal will be showing you, and I think it's under the community section where you can find all of these things. There's also personalized profile cards, class check-in bell ringers, exit tickets, or voting check-in. So I love the voting feature. So you could just check on everybody to do comprehension check, that sort of a thing. So there is a voting feature right within it as well. FigJam class activities. So these are some things I was thinking about that are more specific to adult education that I looked for as well. So one idea was to do a jigsaw reading. So I'm including that template as well. So instead of doing the traditional jigsaw reading, you do it online. Timeline creation. I wish this was here when I was teaching social studies because I always wanted to find a cool tool that did it, but I could never find a good one. And so now you can do a timeline creation right here on a FigJam. You can do science labs, you can do research, you can do daily math problems. So you could even do that as a warm-up every day if you're teaching math and kind of help them build their math skills. And of course, there's writing and research, and we could go on with the writing. I even saw on there that they have writing prompts that are already built in there. There's a lot of opportunities. So even if this isn't something you wanted to use all the time, you could use it from time to time very easily and just type it in, share it, have an activity during class. And I don't feel like with a single activity that that's going to overwhelm anybody. I would, of course, as always, recommend practicing it first, making sure you're comfortable with it. Call the call center and say, hey, will you practice this with me or with a colleague, whatever you need to do? Because like any technology, that's what you're going to want to do. Tiffany said, I would definitely do one function at a time. Yeah, it is much heavier than Jamboard, obviously. Jamboard is very simple. And honestly, that's what a lot of us liked about it, was the simplicity. It was quick, it was easy. It just wasn't as dynamic though. I also felt frustration with Jamboard because I always felt limited in what I can do. So this is really an opportunity. It's kind of like Jamboard on steroids, essentially. So it is an opportunity for something a little bit more, not quite as simple, but it just depends on how you use it. So I'm going to turn this now over to Crystal. She's going to get more into walking you through the side of educator. You've kind of experienced it already as a student, but she's going to get into actually showing you how to do some of these things as an educator, including creating an educator account.
We're back on our KWL chart. So first thing when setting up your account, what you're actually going to see is you're going to get in and you're going to create an account. Over here on this side, it doesn't show it for me anymore. There will be an upgrade option. Over here, when you click that option, you'll see the educator account. They're going to send you a fillable form. And then on that form, it'll ask you questions. Where are you doing your education? Do you have any lesson plans that you can upload? And then once you've submitted that, they will email you and either let you know that you have been accepted or that they need some more information from you. I have found that emailing that educator account and everything that they email you with, reaching out to them, they've been extremely helpful and pretty fast in their responses. It'll be figma.com/@education. So once you're on this page right here, I have my ed team. From here, you'll do Jam Fig board, and that brings you up to your new Fig board. The design feature, I would just stay away from it. It's not really for educators. So also from here, I'm not sure how many of you use Jamboard, but like Ashley mentioned, you can import all of those Jamboards into FigJam. You go by doing import, and it's right there from Jamboard. If we click it, connect, and I go into my Jamboard, I can do this, hit select, and now it's importing it. And the great thing is when I go into it, this is all customizable. All of my frames are there, everything from that one. So once you have everyone in, you have your Fig Jam created. Up here where your name is, I can spotlight myself so it pulls everyone to see what I'm seeing, but you can also share. So you can control what they can do. They can view it or they can edit it. Anyone with a link can edit, but this is the big thing that makes FigJam great. So I have an open session. It ends in 24 hours, but that's just so you all can come in and play. And once you start that, you copy the link, you give it to your students, and they'll be able to enter your Jamboard. So that's just to get you started. Up here in the top right-hand corner, we have a main menu. In there, if you look at quick actions, it'll tell you all the shortcuts to everything they have. So show and hide is control plus slash, copy as an image is control shift copy, export, control shift E, etc. Right next to it is where Ashley was playing. We have our timer, our music, and you can do voting. So I could do a new vote. And then right next to that is the awesome templates. So you have this shortcut page where at the top you have a search bar. You can go in and type anything that you need. And if there is a board already created, it will populate. But if you go all the way to the bottom on the left-hand side, you'll see in purple, it says see more in community. And what I love about this is that remembering that FigJam is a paid and free application for us to use. So some of the boards are not going to be free to use. You have to pay for them. But if you scroll down to right under by the community for the community, you'll have FigJam, all resources, and then the third one in is paid and free. So you know any board I'm looking at now, I can use for free within the app. And again, you can search whatever you need within the Figma community. So the templates are really easy. When you hover over one, you see it says add template. So if I just take that guy, it puts it in here. I can control Z because I actually don't really want it. And now I got to find my board again. So that's one of the things is just spacing everything out to where you want it and then using your spotlight feature to get your students to hone in on that one side. Like Ashley and I mentioned when we were doing the diagram, you don't have to send them a bunch of links anymore. You can just do this right here in your Jamboard. So this is just from Indeed, how to make a comprehensive resume with examples. And I can go in and I can paste that link and it gives me a little thumbnail and everything.
Crystal, we have a question, I think. So once an instructor creates a board, students can access it and play and participate for 24 hours?
The link that I've shared with you guys is only active for 24 hours, but it saves in their stuff. Unfortunately, right now, Tiffany, it does not look like you're able to extend the time, but what you can do is just reset that share button and it leaves it open. But this is the one that I did with Figma themselves. I did a session with them, and so it still lets me go in and play around on the board. So if you're not doing synchronous class time and you guys are doing asynchronous, they'll still be able to access the board and do everything with it. This share feature is just for the collaboration in real time. So I have my link in here. I click on that link, it brings me up to the page. As you guys see, I did put a little YouTube video in there for teachers transitioning. So that's the great thing. What I've done to help us play around is I just kind of made a little mind map going on. And it's just ways that you can think of integrating digital literacy into the classroom, whether it be you're using something like FigJam, really just anything to be able to start integrating that. Some of the key things that I have here, I saw some of you guys already playing with it, but it's our little connectors. So if I want to come off of someone else's idea, I can, and then I can grab my ellipse and I can put it up in there. I can change it from a circle to a square, a triangle, or a little round guy. I can change the color, make it transparent or no fill at all. Or you can just use sticky notes and then use a connector that way. Another cool thing is a lot of us are teaching someone where English is not their first language, it's a second language. We found out they have a translator right there as a plugin or a widget. So if you have someone that's having a hard time understanding English, it does not prevent them from attending your class. You just take that little widget, you plug it in. So you come in and it'll auto detect their language. So if you're having a hard time with one of your students, throw a translator up there, put it in English and let them choose their language. It's not going to be 100%. We all know that translators aren't that great with different dialects and everything, but it's enough that it will
Can
help.
you show me where you did that again?
So
Sorry.
right down here in your widgets, right next to your sticky note, I didn't even put the whole word in. I got trans L and it pulled up the translator. There's a translator chat, there's language swap, but you also have these
You
plugins.
did a search is what you're saying.
Yeah, right
Oh.
there down at my widgets. Just real quick, for a laptop, if you're not using an external mouse, but you have a mouse pad, taking your fingers on the mouse pad and pinching them helps to zoom everything in. And then if you take them from a pinch and you spread them back out, it'll zoom out your board. If you're using an external mouse, the scroller in between your left and right click, if you hold it, you'll see a little hand come up, and that's how you can move around. On the mouse pad, it should be two fingers. If you use two fingers, it scrolls. This is not an application to be used on the phone. If you have students that don't have laptops, they can't get to a laptop, this right now is not going to work in your classroom. I apologize for that. I'm very passionate about trying to work with Figma to get them a better understanding of adult education, the type of resources and templates that we need, as well as them understanding our digital capabilities. So hopefully we'll be able to get a good phone app that comes out in the future, but as of right now, it's honestly just not an option. They can't interact with the board or anything like that. So
Can you show them again where the educator sign up is? Just one more time.
So I went to Google using Figma in the classroom. Right here, it's figma.com and then educators. So once I click on that, you can apply to get started. And like I said, it'll ask you general questions: name, your school email address, what best describes your role, the name of the school, the state, country, number of students, what devices your school uses, so Chromebooks, iPads, Windows, others. It's just asking for a brief, why are you interested? And then you'll submit it. From there, you'll get an email from the figma.com/@education, and they'll have you fill out more in-depth form. And then once they approve that and they verify that you're an educator, you get your educator account. And like I said, emailing them, even if you don't want to go through that process, you just want to email them first, just shoot them an email. I've found them to be extremely nice, efficient, and very helpful.
And I'm always been an advocate for, if I find a tool I like and I have questions, I'll go and talk to the developers, because they like to hear from us. First of all, a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of times developing that relationships helps them improve their product. And they were very responsive to us and agreed to meet with us and agreed to help us in the future. So that was awesome.
All right, so there is an option to speak through your FigJam board. Where you go to spotlight yourself, there is a little set of headphones. You can use that to talk to everyone in your classroom and everything, if that helps a little bit more. I am still researching a lot of this stuff. If it works with Google Workspace, will it work well in a Google Classroom? I know some teachers are using Google instead of Zoom, or if Figma themselves are going to make an option for FigJam to become the classroom as well as the online collaborative whiteboard. So I did ask them when I was in the class with them about accessibility, and they are working on it. And again, Figma is the company that creates FigJam, and they are very much wanting to make something for the educators. For us, it just means educating them a little bit on our special needs as well as the K through 12, but I'm very confident that we can get there. Thank you. Ashley did put in the chat if you want to know anything else or you have any other questions. I'm going to drop my email address because I don't always know the answer. However, I do believe in researching that answer and getting back to whomever is asked. So if you think of something after this session, you can reach me at c.tatro@tamu.edu. Or like Ashley said, if you know the number to the call center, our agents are more than happy to help and assist, but if they can't, they'll find me. And if you all could just come back over to the KWL chart, let us know at least one good thing you learned in this demonstration, or maybe something that surprised you about this application.
Crystal?
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a question. Is there an undo button? Is it Control Z?
It is Control Z. How about saving your FigJam boards? How long and how many? Well, with our educator account, there are unlimited boards, so no limit on how many or how long. However, if you're not on that educator account and you are just on that free trial, it's 3 boards and 3 designs. So you have 2 different types of FigJam that you can do. You can do a FigJam board, which is what we've been playing on, and you can do a design file. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't even know what a design file is. It is not a place we want to be. But on the free account, until you either get your educator account or you upgrade from your free account, you'll get 3 Fig Jam boards. You could delete them. Oh, I'm going to use this just one time. I've made it. Now I'm going to delete it. You just right click whatever board you want and you can delete it. Because I have multiple teams over here. I have my ed team, which has my digital literacy team projects. I also have an Ashley Winkle team, a Crystal team, and my drafts. So I can move my files to either my drafts, my team project, or my ed team, just to help everything stay nice and neat. And then up here at the top in the middle, it'll tell me I'm in team projects. It'll tell me the name. So I did Tech and Tell, and I can rename it if I want, duplicate it, or delete it.
Oh, here it
Someone's
is.
up here doing a math calendar. Got some translators up there. And they also make other fun things. You know, you come into your more, so you could do icebreakers. They have games. We could play tic-tac-toe.
Silly question. Sometimes what I'm seeing on the screen is really small, and sometimes the boards are really big. So how do you expand in and out again?
So right here, I have this sticker, right? And when I click on it, I get the 4 white corners. That allows me to make it bigger and smaller. Now, sometimes you'll be zoomed out too far where you can't see. It has the white corners and I'm trying to do it, but it's like really hard for my mouse to figure it out. But if I zoom into that area and I get that diagonal one, now the issue Ashley and I have been finding is for like this YouTube video, I can maximize it and it'll cover my whole screen, and I can minimize it and it'll go back down. But no matter how far I zoom into it, it never gives me the 4 white corners. So I can't make the thumbnail of it bigger. But as long as you click onto even a sticky note, you know, I can make it big or small. I can add another sticky note with the plus button above it. I can go to the side and add another sticky note. To zoom your screen in and out, you can do Control plus or Control minus. What I highly recommend is if this is something you are extremely interested in learning, like I said, going to YouTube and search Fig Jam.
So before we go, I will just share real quick the handout just so you can see what we put together. This is a Wakelet. We've got the PDF version available, but we've got Fig Jam 101. I've given you direct links, free tool. These things get you started. Here's the poster of the shortcuts that they had made for us. In addition, there is a getting started guide that Matt Miller would stitch that textbook. How to use it. These are 20 ideas and templates they already had. I stole a lot of their ideas. I included a mind map, the community, so you can go straight to it, a jigsaw reading, brainstorming activity, timeline. So all those things are on your digital handout. So I just want to say before we go, thank you, Crystal. You did an amazing job. Thank you all for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed this pre-recorded webinar. After you have passed the final test with a score of 80% or greater and have received your certificate of completion, please take a few moments to complete the course evaluation. Participant feedback helps Train PD at TCall continue to provide high-quality professional development. To leave a course feedback, please go to the completed portion of your transcript. To do this, hover over the My Learning tab and select View Your Transcript. Click on the drop-down arrow next to the word Active and select Completed. Then, click Evaluate in the drop-down menu next to the course you just completed. Please note that your feedback is greatly appreciated.